This is my Victorian blue writing journal, scrapbook, however you want to view it. It has this beautiful little bow on the back with the 2-inch spine. There is some wonderful lace attached over all of the edging. And the paper, I believe, was from the luxury stack. But the paper that I used to make the entire binding was actually recycled from an old calendar that was incredibly long. There's a Velcro closure. And I made the closure also attached to something much wider, so if it gets very full, there's a lot of wiggle room to open it up. When you open up the book, there are some little extra pieces. This was the end of a mistake, but you can always use things for other purposes. You can decorate with the little pieces and do other little lists or writing and what have you. Depends on what you do with these books. In the front, there's this pocket that can hold any number of things. I made it to hold this, which is where that came from. This envelope that is holding another little notebook. And I have a little bit of stenciling in here to make it look like there was a cup of coffee on there. And some of the edges have been punched. Everything has been edged a little bit to give it an older look with a Tim Holtz walnut stain. In the middle of the book, I have these wonderful little bow punches that are covering the ends. So the first person I saw do this was Ephemera's Vintage Garden, and I love that. Absolutely love that. So then on the back, there's a heart punch. I love that heart punch from the Paper Studio, which has also been edged with the walnut stain. So this book very simply fits in there. And then to keep this closed, there's a tiny little spot. You just gently put that little in there. And it sits in there quite nicely. These stickers were fabulous stickers. I bought a bazillion of them, all different types. Dollar Tree had them. They're kind of like vinyl stickers, and they look like lace. They look like antiqued lace. They're wonderful. I love them. There are 4 signatures in this book, and I have edged some of them with lace. This paper was a pack that I had gotten from Michael's. I think that it was a Recollections pack. And I have some in this first pocket. I have the corner punches are French Loop by Martha Stewart. And that's why I used this doily punch that she has, or I think she calls them the circle punches, which is called the triple loop. And I have some other wonderful little ephemera that can be, I believe this one was Ephemera's Vintage Garden, but I think I got these from the Graphics Fairy, who's a wonderful person. Wonderful website. Then I have some papers that are stamped a little bit here and there. And then in the middle of some of this, I have a little bit of paper that you can do anything with, write on it, put pictures on, put tickets and different things. Then I've got more edging. Again, this was the Martha Stewart corner punch. And then this was in the same pattern, but it was the edge punch. So I did all those edges. And then in the middle of each of the books, there's this lovely doily, and this is my set of angel wings. Isn't that wonderful? I love the angel wings. So in the middle of all of the signatures are either the bow ties or the angel wings. And then there's, because I had made some mistakes somewhere, it's a few extra angel wings, so I threw them on. In places you can put pictures or tickets and do writing on and so on. And then here's a pocket for the other end of that first signature. I have another tag that can be written on. It even has some lines on it, which is very convenient. And edged around to give it a slightly aged look. And then this is one of my favorite things. I think I saw Yvonne Preston do this first, where it looks like an envelope, but it's just a piece of paper and you can write on it, and I love that. And then it can be folded back up. It's very cute. I just love the fact that it looks like a little envelope. And this is the next signature, and again I have the Martha Stewart punch in the corner. And the pretty lace on the edges. It's crocheted lace. I have another, it was an extra piece of paper. They make fabulous tags. And I have pockets at the beginning and end of every signature. So again, a little more stamping. And then I have some paper here. This one I'd put sideways because that way you could appreciate the postcard for the way that it is. And then this one I did a little bit of stenciling with, I made up a doily just for that, which you'll see in a few moments. And more angel wings. Yay for angel wings. And here, so what I did was I took that, attached some paper to it, and then cut it in half. So this can be just a nice little tuck spot there because it holds stuff pretty nicely. And then this was the other side of that piece of paper. And then this is the back end. I just attached in this piece of paper. It was like it was made for this spot. It was a scrap. And then here's Love My Angels. And that, I don't remember where I got in that picture. That was from somewhere else. So I had printed that up myself. This is the third signature. I didn't want to put the lace on the edge of it because it was black and whitish. So I had some blue and I edged it with some blue ribbon. And then in here, I have another tag, another little angel wing. And here's a little more of that stenciling with the doily. I love, look at that bird, so beautiful. Some of these papers went so nicely together, even though they weren't from the same package. So what I did here was I just attached a little bit so that it was like it was suspended, so you could write underneath it, on it, between it. You could take it off if you're creative enough and desirous enough. More angel wings, yay! I love this paper, so pretty, all the flowers and all the detail in there. And this was the other side of the bird paper. And here's the end of the third signature with another one. Yep, another accident, another happy accident, and another one of my tags. And the last one, now this could be fun. This, if you have like white pens, there are some pens that work on it, or you could get the Sharpie, sells the metallic pens very inexpensively, and you can write anything on this, the front and the back of this. It's just that it has the beautiful print here, which is why I wanted to include it where it could be easily seen. And here I did the whole edge. I didn't do the edge punch. I did the whole edge with the lace. And in here, so I have two more. This is my Ephemera's Vintage Garden, which I backed onto some cardstock, some plain cardstock. And here's another tag. And then what I did here, and this came from the same paper pack as this did. So what I did here was, it's just an example of how you could have, and this is so pretty. This came from the Primrose stack, and then I put another little wing on it. This came from a paper stack called the Primrose stack. So I made it so you could just, it's safe at the bottom, it's safe at the side. It can just be a little something you tuck there. And some more paper with stamping. I only have a few sheets in each. Love damask, love damask. And here is another spot where you could simply just gently tuck stuff if you want to do so. In fact, I think I will do that. Just gently tuck stuff, and it stays in pretty well. And here's the middle section. This one has bows in it, little bows. The bows were symmetrical, so it was easier to do that. I didn't take into account the fact that the angel wings were not symmetrical. So here's another one of those spots, but you can write underneath if you wish. Allows for a little privacy if you like. Another beautiful bird from the same paper stack. These papers, the smaller ones, were all from the same paper stack. And then here's a little more of that stenciling that I did. Tried to not make it too dark so you can write across it. And then a last little stamping. And I like when it kind of comes off like that. It kind of makes it look even a little more vintage. And another tag in the last pocket. And in these pockets, I did that corner punch from the Martha Stewart. And then in the back, I did this little interesting type pocket. So it's open over here, so that if you have something that's a little bit wide, it's safe. But then this was also from that Primrose stack where the other piece had come from. And here's another one of the tags that came from a wonderful pad. And this is that same punch that I had, but I took a piece of left over the damask from the beginning. And I just tried to kind of make sure it was like even with the way that it came up. So you can see there's the little tulipy thing. There's a little tulipy thing. So they fit in here. I sewed them into the spine, and then I secured underneath the spine and around the front of the book with Tyvek underneath, so that it should be somewhat durable, should be somewhat safe. And but these signatures have been sewn into a piece of cardstock, which is glued in here. So hopefully it should be fairly durable. It was a wonderful project to do. I enjoyed every moment of it.